What's up, guys? We hit the budget episode for our trip to Japan. In this episode, we'll break down the costs, hotel expenses, food, and even activities, transportation for 15 days in Japan. So that's a long haul. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button just so more people can see the content, right? So let's get to it. We planned this trip last year. And the purpose of this trip was to see more of Japan and different parts of Japan, but more importantly, to be in Japan for the cherry blossom or the sakura season. That's the reason why you may remember, if you watched the episodes the last couple weeks, where we spent some time in Osaka and Tokyo and Kyoto, but we ended up extending for another 7 days just to make sure that we were there for the sakura blooms, and thankfully we were. So that's the reason why this trip extended out to be 15 days. Allow me to break down the costs and the expenses for you guys, starting with flights. So for flights, we started by flying from Manila to Narita. On the way home, we flew out from Osaka to Manila. So in total, we spent $1,226 for flights. Divide that by 5, that's about $245 per person, which is not bad. Next, for accommodations, we originally planned our trip to go from Tokyo, then to Kyoto, and then Osaka. So we had planned a few days in Disney, and then a few days in Kyoto, and then a few days in Osaka. So originally we had planned 3 accommodations, but because we extended, we ended up staying in 2 other separate accommodations. Another thing to consider is for the first 3 days and 3 nights that we stayed there, we stayed at a Disney resort using DVC points. So we used 207 DVC points for 3 days in a specialty room at the Disney Ambassador Hotel. We spent a total of $3,787. So when you divide that into the 12 nights that we paid for, we average about $315 a night. You could round up $316 a night, which isn't too bad. Most of these accommodations had at least 2 bedrooms. So it's expensive, but it's also prime tourist season in Japan. So that's what it costs. Next up is transportation. So what's included in this total was the price of our normal subway and JR Rail tickets. We use Suica cards on our phone. It's built in directly on Apple in the Apple Wallet, which is great. The kids, we ended up buying Pasmo cards, which works the same exact way. You load them with cash, and then you tap them whenever you enter in and out of the subway. We use that for 90+% of our travel. The total for trains that we spent for the 5 of us for 15 days was $224, right? So that's pretty good for 15 days. We also spent $413 total to get from Tokyo to Kyoto. Lastly, there were a few nights where we would be out and it's raining and we didn't feel like getting wet or convenience or whatever reason, we just took an Uber back to the accommodation. So for 15 days, that only happened a few times, and that came out to $85. So in total, we spent $722 for transportation, and that comes out to about $48 a day for a family of 5. So it's not too bad, less than $10 a day, getting everywhere we needed to get to. Activities. So this trip, we planned it again, really for a sakura blossom trip. So it wasn't at the top of the list to knock through everything in Shibuya and all the famous places, activities. Honestly, I wanted to spend days just hanging out under the sakura trees. But unfortunately that didn't happen. So we did sprinkle in activities randomly because we had a great time in Tokyo at the Team Labs exhibit, we wanted to do the Team Labs exhibit in Osaka, and that was $35 for the 5 of us, so about $7 per ticket. Spocha was great. All the kids loved it. Everyone had fun. There's so many activities to do there. That ended up being $90 total. So you're looking at less than $20 per person for all those activities, and they're all, once you pay one ticket, you have access to all those activities. The Samurai Museum, we did that as well. Disney. In total, we spent $516 on activities. All right. One thing I want to shout out is Taro Mobile. No, they're not a sponsor, but they have been consistent, and we use them for eSIM every country we've been to, and usually it's less than $10, closer to $5 for a week of data, which is great. So if you guys are traveling Southeast Asia, Australia, we recommend taromobile.com. For food. Now, everyone knows, especially if you watch this channel, food is a highlight in Japan. The food isn't cheap, but it's on average some of the best food you'll have in your life. In my opinion, Japan is the gastronomic capital of the world, and if you're a foodie, man, Japan should be your next stop. We've hit sushi, yakiniku, sukiyaki, every kind of akiukiku you could think of, and the kids love it. Even something simple like going to 7-Eleven and getting some chicken thighs is amazing in Japan. So in total for food, we spent $2,244, and that's me rounding up, $200 because just some random street food or whatever. So that comes out to about $149 or $150 per day for a family of 5, which I don't think is too bad. One thing that's amazing about Japan is sushi. Sushi and fish in general is cheaper compared to what we're used to back home. So an amazing sushi dinner with a tower of plates comes out to less than $100, which I think is, you can't see that anywhere in the United States for quality fish. So the grand total, when you sum up everything for a 15-day trip in Japan that stretches from Tokyo through Kyoto, and riding a Shinkansen, hitting up Disney, eating at amazing restaurants, we spent a total of almost $8,500. Now that's for 15 nights. That comes out to be $566 a day for a party of 5. Is it cheap? Absolutely not. But is it amazing? Yes, it was. We're so thankful to have made the trip. And I'm grateful that we were able to catch cherry blossom blooms the day before we left. And for me, it was worth the trip. It was worth extending, and it's definitely worth what we spent, that $566 a day. Hope that helps. We share this information so that you get an idea, or if you're planning a trip, you can use this information as an idea to what you can budget. We appreciate all the support. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it. We love having you guys along, and we're thankful to still be on this trip. We have a few other stops to go, and we're so excited. So come take the ride with us, guys. We're here to remind you, collect moments, not things. Peace.